first of all, this is more or less new to me. Like not that new, because we look at things through the headlines. So I'm familiar vaguely, of what's been said and things of that sort. But let's kind of go back first of all to the most recent stuff. I know you're a little concerned with.
Oh, sorry. No, I'm clearing the background.
Okay.
All right, what did you say?
So what I was saying is, I know you have some concerns with being misrepresented, and that's why we're doing it this way.
Yeah.
Secondly, um, you know, I guess I'll say a source told me a lot of information, at least from his lens and maybe yours, about what happened with the court case, particularly around the arrest. And, you know, I guess what it is your inability to show up to court. Can you tell me through your words what happened?
So on our court date on Monday, this is the day before trial, which is Tuesday. We had a hearing at 9:30, and the attorney for David was like, well, before we do anything, I'd like to let you know that she's a wanted fugitive. She has a warrant for her arrest for perjury and blah blah blah. And I called the cops as soon as she got in here. So they're on their way now. So she'll be arrested. So there's not gonna be a trial, Your Honor. So I'm looking like, what? So the judge was like, do you know what she's talking about? I say, I mean, I heard her say that I had a warrant because she's talked about it in evidence, but I haven't been able to obtain information that I have one. So I don't know how she does, how she can get the information I can't. So she was like, oh, I called the number. So she had these papers. So she gave it to the judge. And she's like, oh, I got the paperwork. You can see the paperwork right here. So she's like, there's a number on the top. You can call it and make sure it's active. She's like, I just called this morning to make sure that it was an active warrant. And she was like, at first they said that they weren't going to give me any information because I am public, but they gave it to me anyways. So
Okay.
I'm listening to it. So they showed me like not the whole paper. So they just showed me like one paper that would like show like when it was issued and like the dates. So I see it and I'm like, okay, I see the warrant from October. And I was like, well, I'm sorry, but I don't know anything about this. And so the judge was like, okay, well, obviously if she gets arrested, then there won't be a trial. And she was like, well, yeah, they're on their way. If they can't make it now, they'll come back later. So we had on Monday, we had a trial, we had a hearing at 9:30 and then 2. So this is our 9:30 hearing. So she was saying if the police weren't coming at 9:30, they'll come back at 2.
Mhm.
So we were there for the hearings for my son to see if my son would be able to stand trial. So she was trying to avoid all this. It was supposed to be, it was set up to happen on Monday, but it just didn't happen. So I asked the judge, like, well, can we just do what we came here to do? And whatever happens will happen. So we went with the proceedings and then we had our recess. So I know I get out of court, I'm calling the courthouse and something I don't have warrants, but I don't know what's going on. I come back to court at 2 o'clock to do jury selection,
Mhm.
and no police officers there, didn't get arrested. So then, trial's on Tuesday, 9:30. So I'm rolling up to the courthouse and I like popped out the parking garage and I bust a right and go up the two little stairs and I see 4 police officers. I recognize one of the detectives and he actually was supposed to be testifying against me for the plaintiff. So I see him outside and in my head, I'm like, okay, yeah, they're coming to arrest me. And yeah, so they put me in handcuffs. I explained to them how I don't know about the warrant. One of the female cops was like really nice about it. She was like, well, how is it that she couldn't check and find out and handle it on her own? Like, why wasn't it? She was trying to tell me maybe it was a miscommunication, but I was like, I'm not gonna lie. I got set up. That's the miscommunication. It was never meant for me to be able to handle it, because if I could have handled it, I would have did what I had to do. So like, so I wouldn't miss trial. But it was set up to where, I never even made it in the building. So like they didn't even know that I was even there because it was like on a slick slide and I got taken. There was camera and press outside. So that's how they got the videos because they were already outside waiting for me. Everybody was outside, that was set up to be outside waiting. And the police officers were like, well, you'll be ROR, which is like release on own recognizance. So I won't get a bond. It's supposed to be a fast thing. Like you go and then they sign off paperwork and say, here's your court date and you leave.
Right.
But I get to the jail And the female police officer was like, it's gonna be real quick. They're not even gonna book you and do all that. So just don't even worry. Cause I'm telling her she wasn't involved in the setup. She was just one of the officers who were there. So I'm telling her, like, no, I'm trying to go to trial. Like I was telling them, like, you guys couldn't wait till after. I'm not fleeing. Like, I'm here. Like, come on, like, let me go to trial. I was like, and then the officer who arrested me was supposed to testify. So I'm like, boy, you ain't want to get on that trial, huh? Because I was gonna be able to cross-examine everybody. So I just felt like, I knew I was set up and I felt very slighted. But when I get to the jailhouse, I'm like, okay, well, I'll just get back out. I'm gonna run to the courthouse, tell them what's going on, and hopefully continue. But they ended up booking me, doing a mugshot. And the person who was at the jail was telling me, like, well, we don't normally book people who come in with an ROR like this. And I told her, I'm getting set up. So I'm telling everybody, I'm getting set up. And so they just were like, they looked at the paperwork and she's like, you just got to get you a good lawyer. So everybody was just telling me, you just got to get you a good lawyer. But for me, it was just like, I just hope that I could get out. But I ended up sitting in jail from 10 a.m. to 8, like around 8 something. So they held me all entire day.
On Tuesday.
And yeah, they held me all entire day on an ROR. So I'm thinking like, they said I had to wait until the sergeant came and approved my release. Even though I'm an ROR once I'm booked. So it's like posting a bond and then they say, okay, you got bond, you're out. But apparently I had to wait for somebody to come authorize me to leave. So they held me till 8 all day. I'm like, why am I here so late? I'm thinking I'm gonna stay all night. And then you couldn't look me up. You couldn't look up my arrest. So all my family and friends who were pulling up, they didn't know what was going on. They didn't see me. They saw an empty courtroom at the beginning of the trial. They didn't realize maybe they had a recess or what they did because they restarted back at 10:30. That's what the records say. So they trying to find me in the system. Can't find my mugshot. Can't find my arrest. My arrest wasn't in the system until this morning. So all day yesterday, I'm sitting in jail like a John Doe. So, I have no idea if the judge might have looked to see if I was in jail, because he heard about the warrant. So if I'm not there, it would be okay. Like, where is she? So maybe they tried to look and see if I was arrested, but then they didn't see me in the system. So like I was like a no call, no show. But I definitely was sitting in jail. And yeah, so that's what happened. I was released around 8:30. I saw they had a trial, a one-sided trial, and it lasted I think till like 5 o'clock. So I literally was held just so that I wouldn't be able to, in my opinion, make it to trial.
What made you, I guess, I have a lot of questions, but one question is, just what made you represent yourself? Why didn't you have a lawyer?
I had a lawyer. I had a lawyer. My lawyer was having difficulties with the case. So in the beginning, I've been through so many setups. This is just one that was just very public that I could prove. A lot of stuff that I've been through with this case and these people have been very hard to prove because they're so slick. So my original attorney, he was just I've never seen law like this. I like he said he does law by the book and he's not into doing the crossroads and when they would come with the threats and stuff, he didn't have enough so it was like I'm getting beat up and my lawyer's just sitting here like, well, I do things by the book. And it's so to me, it's like one, you're not fighting hard enough for me. I'm getting beat up and I got a lawyer who's just chilling. Like he's like, oh, I'm gonna prove, I'm gonna do what I gotta do in trial, but I'm getting beat up all up into trial. And
Right.
so, I didn't feel like he was too invested, and I feel like he might have been working against me. All this sounds crazy, but I had two instances with my attorney. Like for one, I got word that there is a CPS case for the man up in Chicago somewhere, but I couldn't get a hold of the documents. And the person who gave me this information said they don't want to lose their job, but try to get a PI or somebody who can pull records for you. So I contacted my attorney and I was like, hey, listen, I showed him the information, what they were saying. This person showed me their badge. They wouldn't show me their name, but they worked for Cook County Sheriff's Department. So she saw what was going on the internet. So I asked my lawyer to get me a PI if he had one. So he told me I got a PI, my friend for 20 years. So I met up with this PI. I gave him $5,000 to go do what he's supposed to do. This man ran off my money. He runs off my money, doesn't do nothing. And this is supposed to be my friend, my lawyer's friend. So I'm like, dude, what's going on with your boy? Like, y'all gonna give me my money back? Like, what's going on? He just chilling. The polygraph guy was also his friend and was also a reference from my attorney, and he ended up stabbing me in the back. So it was like everybody he was referencing to help my case was hurting my case.
Mm.
And the final thing is that he started to doctor invoices. So he started to say that I owed him a certain amount of money that I didn't, and I caught him changing the total amount. So I said, you know what? You ain't working hard enough for me. The people you referring to me is stabbing me in the back, and you not helping me. I'm getting arrested left, right, all this stuff going on. You focus on just the civil case, and I got other stuff coming out, and you my lawyer, so like help me. And then you trying to get extra money out of me. So I just felt like I couldn't win a trial with my feeling like my lawyer was working against me. And I just felt like it's a civil case, and I'm very articulate, and I have my evidence, I got everything planned out. So I had no doubt I could stand before a jury and say, this has been my life for a year and a half. I'm gonna tell you how. So I didn't feel like, if it was criminal, yes. But I mean, at this point, it's like if I would have had a lawyer, a lot of things that happened to me wouldn't have happened because I would have had somebody who would have, but they took advantage of the fact that I was by myself. But I'm not doing malicious games. I just want to go to the court. I just want to go to court and be able to prove my case and say what I gotta say. And whatever they decide is whatever they decide. But at least I get to go and tell everybody like this is what it is, and this is why I feel like this, and this is what it's been for me. And that's it. And just have a fair trial. But I can't get it. Like it's been
Do you think
tough.
he's in cahoots with the arresting
Oh,
officer?
for sure. Oh, for sure. Because even what I'm getting arrested for is complete nonsense. Oh, complete nonsense. Like complete nonsense. And I have the police themselves. Even from the beginning, like when I first went to the police about this, it was given they didn't care, and they were treating me like I was a suspect and not the victim. And I had been complaining about the BSO police department. I've complained about them 3 times to internal affairs. People don't know that, like on social media. They just saw the social media. They don't know that. I was at the police station every day yelling at them people. What are we doing? What is this? What is that? What is this? What is that? Every day. So I'm fighting hard with the police. So on top of doing what I'm doing on social media, I'm actually really fighting with the police. And then the way they're set up is they all cover for each other. So I can complain on one officer to internal affairs, and then they'll do their investigation and close it.
Right.
And so and then nothing was being solved. I'm still dealing with the same detective who's still being disrespectful, just flat acting racist. I just had a bad batch of detectives, and unfortunately it happens. I met good police that felt bad for what I was going through when I was going through what I was going through with them. But unfortunately I've had bad police officers, and I've always felt like somebody had a hand with those people from the beginning, even up to the state prosecutor's office. And I told them people, I know you guys are working against me. I know, and I don't have proof, but I'm not stupid. So I know, like when I'm sitting in a room and I'm fighting for my son, and I got people looking at me like, well, we don't care. And for me it was so real. So it's just like, help me. I just wanted help. Essentially why I came on social media is because I was not getting help with the police, and I don't have my baby daddy. I don't have a lot of family, so it's literally just me, and I'm fighting as hard as I could fight. And then I'm going against, I had my detective tell my roommate who was a part of the investigation, a part of what happened, and he tells her, well, he doesn't look like the type of person that would do this. What does that mean? Like, like when we're saying that this is happening, like for me to hear that, you know what I'm saying? What does that mean? Like what do people like this look like? Like, and then he would say, he also said something like, um, oh, he has his whole rap career. Like, why would he ruin that for this? So it was already given. It was just like they didn't care what I was saying, and that they already had their mind made up. And I always felt like there was a hand in it, very, very, very early. So every step of my way and everything I went through, even further than that, I already had a bag with the police. I was already complaining about them up to the lieutenant, and I just would have the police, like I have records of them flat lying to my face. You know what I'm saying? So I would have David and his attorney telling the whole internet, the police say she's lying and blah blah blah. So I'm going to the police station next day. Look at this. Why they doing this? Why are you doing that? What y'all saying to them? Y'all talking to them, and they're telling me we've never talked to them. I have a recording of the lieutenant BSO. She goes, oh, I can assure you that no one from this office has talked to him or his attorney. And I said, how you know that? She goes, because I'm the lieutenant of this. Nothing goes happens without my say so. And I read your report 4 times back and forth. So like a month later, when I sit with the state prosecutor's office, I get to see my file. I see that David and his attorney has talking to the police officers over 4 times.
Mm.
And so it's like everyone's coming at me telling me I'm lying, but then they're lying to me. So it's just like, what's going on? So it was just way deeper than social media. It's deeper than that, which is why I'm getting set up the way I'm doing, because I'm not just going against him, I'm going against the police departments. So you know how that is. And for me, like, I'm not gonna stop. Like, it doesn't matter what they was doing. Like, I'm every day I'm calling. Every day. It came to a point where they didn't even answer my phone calls no more, because I'm
Mhm.
calling every day. So I went through a lot of injustices with the system itself, and I never wanted to come on social media and explain like that I wasn't getting the help, because I didn't. I tried to give them the benefit of the doubt. Like, I felt like if I did that, then they definitely wouldn't help me. So I just kept quiet about my battles with the police. But I ain't have no help ever from the beginning of police, and it's been apparent moving along how they just all been working together to make me look a certain way, but that's not what it is.
Right, right. Hold on one
And
second. All right. Sorry, go ahead.
I could, if I had the opportunity today or tomorrow, I would have been able to cross-examine every single detective that sat on that stand. They don't want that either. Like I said, I have recordings. I have a recording of the detective who testified against me while I was in jail. I saw that he was a witness in the trial. I have no idea what they said yet. We ordered the transcript, so I'll find out. But I have a recording of this man when I went and I said, they're saying that you guys are saying that I'm lying. And he goes, in the recording, I never said that. I never told anybody that you were lying. I wouldn't say that you were lying. I wouldn't say that unless I believe that. And I don't believe that you're lying. You know what I'm saying? That's exactly what he said to me. And I said, okay. So it was given, it was given, oh, David and his attorney are lying on us. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? But I'm the one to be made looking liars. But I got these two people that are going back and forth. They lying about talking to them, and them lying about talking to them, and they all lying to me. So it was a hot mess. Hot mess.
What So what was your thoughts when you heard the verdict? You're talking, I don't, there's two different versions of it, 11 million, 30 million. Um, what did you think about that? And, you know, are you gonna, file an appeal?
Yeah, so I mean, I come out of jail, you know what I'm saying? I knew that I missed trial. So in my head, I just figured it was gonna be a mistrial. Like, I figured maybe probably just did a mistrial, and then we could appeal it if we want. But I know they didn't want to go to trial anyway, so they was just gonna let it be what it was.
Mhm.
Or they would have tried to postpone it or push it back or something. I had no idea in my mind that them folks ran the trial without me. So when I get out and I see the post on social media, I'm like, I don't, ain't no way. Like, it's just like, it's ain't no way. Like, how you have a trial without a person being there? And then on top of that, it wasn't that I just didn't show, like, I got arrested. So ain't no way. Like, how can you do that? Like, the jury just heard one side, and folk could have went in there and said what anything under the rainbow in the sun. And then it went in 11 million. Like, ain't no way, because at the end of the day, you still gotta prove. I'm not trying to hear throw shade, but ain't nobody making $1 million from music. You gotta prove that I have lost millions of dollars. You are not on that level to be
Right.
selling millions of dollars worth of music. So I don't even understand how they even came up with 11 million. And we're trying to get the paperwork. It's not in the system yet. So I don't know if that's the true amount or whatever. I mean, that's what they're saying. Probably is if they're saying it, but I have not seen the verdict sheets or anything like that. And of course, look, of course, I'm going to be filing. I already submitted a letter to the judge, letting him know, like, I don't know if you noticed, but I was in jail, so we got to bring that back. So I've had help. I'm having help now. You know what I'm saying? Because now at this point, it's like, yeah, I'm definitely gonna need. I'm definitely gonna need people now, because this is like really backwards is going on. So, and it shouldn't be a problem. Now, if it's a problem, then it's just everybody up to the judge. It's just it's always a possibility. That's too. Like, so I'm eager to see what happens. I mean, in the law, like, as far as that works, like, I didn't have the opportunity to go to trial. So it wouldn't make sense that I wouldn't be able to have another trial. It wouldn't make sense, because I could prove I was in jail, which I did. So I get like 30 days once he approves that I could submit the motion. So we'll just file for it, and then hopefully I can get into the trial and do what I got to do. But
Yeah, this seems exhausting. Social media says a lot too. You know, a lot of people are saying, you know, this is sort of a victory for men. Some are saying,
that's
you
wild. You know what I'm saying? Like it's such a, you know, it hurts my soul. But it's a dirty game. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not like it's not like I wasn't prepared for the worst, and it's not like I haven't known this whole entire time I've been dealing with this that it was a possibility. But just the fact that he's gonna sit here and I'll be the spokesperson of falsely accused men, but I have been the one that has been lied on since the beginning. And it's not even, you know what I'm saying? Like my son told me when my son told me I'm his mom, I believe my son, I did what I had to do for my son, period. You know what I'm saying? Like from the beginning of this case, if you could look at the facts, from the beginning of this case, him and his attorney came on Instagram Live and said there was no case. I wasn't working with the police if it was serious, but that wasn't true because I had worked with the police for a whole month before I even came on Instagram. Instagram was my last resort. Like, I need help. I'm not getting the help. Somebody help me. And I put it out there just because one, he wasn't gonna just walk like he ruined my life. And then he didn't think I was gonna do that. Like he thought I was just supposed to be a bitch and just keep quiet about it. And no, like now I'm gonna stand up and I'm gonna let everybody know. But from the beginning, I would have respected it had he just been like, I didn't do it, you know, I would never do that. Like, I don't know why her son is saying this. I'll do whatever. But he orchestrated this whole narrative that it came from me. So off rip from me being that I'm still trying to process it. Like, I didn't want to see my boyfriend rape my son. Like, why would I want to see that? So I'm trying to process everything that's going on. But the way that he's acting towards me, it was like, ain't no way. Like, you know, it's my son saying this. Ain't no way that you would come on the internet and now downplay our relationship, make me seem like I'm just doing this because you left me. Ain't no way. I left you. Ain't no way. Like you would beg me. Like, and I have proof. I got the text messages, and I would have destroyed them in trial because your made up story is not given to what the facts are. And I have facts. You know what I'm saying? Even down to the polygraph test. I
right.
got facts. So
Is it
they're
so
avoiding the facts.
real quick? Is it's not his and your son, it's just your son.
Yeah, it's my son.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
I got
My
that.
child's father is in prison.
Okay, I got you. All right. I thought it was your both of your son. Okay. So you so your son, tell me what your son told you.
So initially, and so when the event that happened, there was a 3-year-old who was also at the house. So my son was dealing with defecating on himself for like a month and a half, 2 months. So and he was losing weight. He was having behavior problems at school. So everybody knew something was wrong with him. But at the end of the day, he's not telling me nothing. And I'm not a mind reader. So I'm having everybody, even him, talk to my son, please. Like, I don't know what he got going on. Maybe you could talk to him. You're a guy. Maybe something's going on. And he's the only one out of everybody in my circle that alluded to the fact of that happening to him. But immediately when he brought that up to me, I was like, no one's gonna mess with Wesley. Like, he don't be around nobody. Like, no one touched him. And I shut it down. I'm not thinking that. So,
Who
you
said
know,
that?
when
Who
he's
said that though?
David, he's the only one that
For the
told me,
record, that's duty, right? Duty.
yeah. Yeah, I don't call him that, but yeah. Yeah, he's the only one out of, yeah, I talked to my big daddy about him, his teachers about him, my parents about him, everybody. Like, or Wesley, I don't know what's going on with him. Like, I don't know what's wrong. So it was so much turmoil in our house because trying to figure out what he had going on. And it was stressful that he was having these accidents. And he was the only one that would be like, he said one day to me, he was like, has he been around anybody new recently? And I was like, no. I mean, you the only person that's new in my life. I only have 5 people that's around me. So I was like, why? And he's like, I don't know, because I recognize those signs. I have family that's been, you know, molested before, and I recognize those signs. And I was like, so you, I'm like, nobody touched Wesley. Like, who would touch Wesley? So I shut it down. I never thought about it. But so when my son finally, after 2 months having these issues, come home from school, and I'm like, for the 15,000th time, why are you pooping on yourself? And he says, first thing he says, I fell and hit a stick. So I mean, I'm dealing with a 5-year-old who's processing trauma. I'm not stupid either. So, you know, as going through questioning this, I'm not gonna just take I fell and hit a stick. That's like, you know, one-on-one, someone getting hurt, they lie, they crazy stories up. So then I start developing that. Fell and hit a stick. Where you hit the stick at? Where the stick hurt you at? to my bottom. I said, what you mean your boy? So I'm like, with a stick went inside you? Like, what inside me? So I'm like, ain't no way you fella hit a stick. So I'm going through it with him, and I'm listening to what he's saying. I'm trying to process it, and I'm like, well, after he says, then when he says that he didn't do that, then he goes, baby Alex, who was there, the 3-year-old, me and her were playing, and she put something in my bottom. So I say, Alex, what you mean y'all was playing? So now I'm trying to figure out child play, like what was y'all playing around, like what was going on. So I asked him, how did you feel about it? I'm trying to figure out if they was on some funny stuff. So I said, how you feel about it? He said, I felt sad because no one had ever done that to me before. My son is very good with his feelings. So I'm like, so now it's starting to click to me, the pooping and all this stuff. And I'm like confused. I don't know what's going on. So right when I'm talking to him, I called David because I'm still like, we're not together, but I'm still like, he's still I'm gonna call you because he knows what's going on. So I call him. Now it's in front of my son too. And I'm crying because I know something's going on and I don't know what it is yet. But now I was just overwhelmed. So I call him and I'm like, what's he trying to tell me what's going on with him? And he's like, what's he saying? I don't know. He's saying something about Alex putting something up him, and I don't know what they got going on, but he said he was sad, and I'm crying because I'm like, something happened. I don't know what's going on. And he told me, he was like, well, see, I told you something like that probably happened to him because I told you that I recognize those signs. And I was like, yeah, but I don't know. I don't know. He told me, he was like, your son's a good kid, just keep talking to him. You'll figure it out. But I gotta go. I'm gonna call you back. Boom. I ain't talked to him for 2 weeks because I had found out my son have to continue talking to him and continue talking to him and going through it. I met up with Alex and the family, and we're sitting there like, she's 3 years old. She turned 3 years old. And we just trying to picture it. Like, he wasn't giving too much detail. Like, it just wasn't, it wasn't making sense. We just had to go through it. And I would question him about every man that was ever around him, possibly, and was it my uncle? Was it Uncle JJ? Was it Uncle this? Was it Uncle that? Was it Uncle this? Was it this? Was it that? Was it that? So I say, David, I would notice my son's face change. And I know my son better than anybody else. It don't matter what nobody say, I know my son is lying. Like when I saw the face, I broke down. I didn't even say anything, so I already knew. So I'm very emotional. Like, I'm heartbroken, I'm screaming, I'm crying. It's hard for him to open up to me because of how I'm reacting. And I tell him, I had to sit him down. I say, bro, what you're telling me is very serious. You know what I'm saying? You cannot say it was Alex if it wasn't her, no one's gonna get in trouble. So don't try to, but what you're saying is very serious. Like, I had to let him know the seriousness of what he's saying. So I'm saying, if it was Alex, it's okay. But we figure out what happened and we'll figure it out. But if it wasn't Alex, you can't lie on Alex. You can't lie on anybody because it's very serious. So then he goes, it wasn't Alex. Then I say, so who was it? Then he goes, nothing happened. So now he's trying to take it back. So I'm like, no, no, no. I got to keep him. I know something happened to you. Like, don't do that. And then he started saying, I sat on him. So he's just going through, and I have to filter it out. I have to work with him. It's not that my son is just lying. It's just that I had to filter it out. So in the beginning, he told me this nonsense about these screws, or like a little spiky thing is what he said. He said it was a little spiky thing. Tell me something like he threw it outside or whatever. So I go outside. Where he threw it at? Going outside. I find the screws on the floor, and I couldn't believe it. And he just said it was the screws just so I could stop questioning him. I was questioning him like all day. So I sat outside with him for 2 hours. Ain't no way this is what it was. Telling me that's what it was. Ain't no way this is what it was. So 2 hours I sat outside. But for me, it was like I knew something happened to him. I believed that. Like, I knew he had problems. I know my son, he ain't just making this up. He doesn't know anything about sex. And this is what he's saying happened. So whatever you say is where it goes. So that's just what I went to the police. I feel like in my own denial, I didn't want to see it with anything else. So that's why I wasn't able to go further into that. And I just accepted that because I didn't want to accept that it was a rape. But I was able to pinpoint the exact weekend that it was because baby Alex was there. I only had her 4 times. So I went through my camera roll and I'm like, did it happen before here? After, I'm asking him, getting the dates. And I find the weekend that David was at my house. So then I get to thinking, and I put it, there was a night that I was gone and I wasn't home. And so, I had a ring camera footage of my son going outside the very next day. He was holding his pants weird. He was walking funny. He was looking around the bushes. I don't know exactly what he was doing, but I saw that. So I'm like, that's why I kind of believe the screws. Like maybe he came outside, with the screws to make sure they were really hidden or something. But I knew something happened. You know what I'm saying? And I took it. I went to the police. I didn't want him to find out. I didn't want David to know I was working with the police because I didn't want him to try to threaten me or stop me or whatever. I never called him. So I didn't talk to him since that one time. And see, me and him, our relationship, we talk every day. So even the fact that he didn't contact me in 2 weeks in my head and everybody else around, it was weird. And then I was MIA. I wasn't on social media. So it was also weird that I was ducked off. We was both just ducked off. It was just radio silence. And then by the 15th of October, he comes to Miami for a show. David comes to Miami for a show and was like, "Oh, I'm in town. I want to see you." Da da da. That's the first time I had talked to him in 2 weeks. I go straight to the police, tell him, "Okay, old boy's on my phone. I don't know what to do." Because, I was trying to do some other stuff. Like, I was trying to do some other stuff. And everybody around me was like, just do it the right way. Do what the police was. The police wanted me to do a three-way call, try to get him to snitch on himself. I told him he's not going to do that. Like, I didn't want to do that because it was going to blow up the investigation. I just wanted at least for the investigation to go on. And then, I wanted him to, I wanted him to get arrested and then he'll find out. But it just wasn't going like that. So I had to tell him in a three-way call. And then when I told him on a three-way call, that's when he just started his semantics against me. And in the beginning,
What'd
he
you
was
tell
like,
him?
"Oh, like."
You tell him on the three-way call.
I mean, I at first I rolled around it, but I was like, Wesley told me what happened to him. Wesley said you did something to him. He just what? Like he laughing, like he thought it was funny. I'm looking at him being dead ass serious, and I was like, Wesley saying, screws, and so the only thing that he ever denied was screws. Like it wasn't that he ever was like, you know, I never did. Like it's never no sincerity. Like he knew exactly how serious it was to me because of how I was crying when I first found out, and he knew that he was pooping, and so he thought it was funny. Like he's telling his friends. But at the end of the day, it wasn't the screws. So he had a point when he was talking about not it being screws. I didn't know that, but at the end of the day, he wasn't like the way he was acting. He just was never given like. And I asked him, I was like, "You're in Miami, so can you come talk to the police and and just tell them like what you did in my house that night?" Because everybody had to give a statement. So, using my house that night, can you just please tell him what he was doing? Like, you want to help me out so bad? Like, just what you could do for me. He's telling me he was going to come, never came. He actually flew out of town, he was gone. And then he hired his lawyer, and then they called the police and said he wasn't going to be corroborating. So it was just, and then I tried to reach out to the family. I was just trying to reach out to people like, listen, this is what I got going on. Like, I wanted him to convince me that what he was saying wasn't true. I'm trying to give you the opportunity to convince me that you didn't do it. But I never got that. I never got that. I never got a sincere, like, actually, like, I'm shocked. Like, he was, the way he was acting, I had people that would be around or I would record the conversations between us, and all the guys around me was like, he's not acting innocent. When you have a situation like this, people react different ways. And he called his mom on the phone. "Mom, tell me how Brittany's saying da 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 da." Like, I don't know, like just, and then he would just call me every night, tell me I'm sick in the head and I'm this and I'm that. And I'm like, boy, I'm not coming up with this. Like, it ain't coming from me. So like, why is he attacking me? And at the time, it wasn't even on social media, but he was, "Oh, you want clout, you want this." And I said, "How? I'm not on Instagram. Like, what you talking about? Like, I'm dealing with the police." And then he say, "I'm not dealing with the police. And I'm lying about dealing with the police." So from the beginning, it just was a hot mess. So we went through our investigation, and it was closed. The first investigation was closed, but it got reopened because after about 3 months later in January, my son was able to tell me that it was his penis and it wasn't the screws. And he made that up because he was afraid to tell me what it really was. He's able to describe this man penis. He can describe an erection. He don't know none of that stuff. And then the 3-year-old, I call her, got a FaceTime video with her. She tells me she's seen David in the house chasing my son. And she said that David did something to make Wesley cry. And then she told me he had no clothes on. And I said, "Well, did he have clothes on?" He said, "No, he didn't have any clothes on." She's 3. So I had 2 of the kids. And finally, when my son opened up about it being his penis, he gave all type of different details he never had for the screws, because the screws was bullshit anyway. So, he just was going with the flow. But when he told me what the truth was, he's telling me all type of stuff that it made way more sense. The scene made way more sense. I go back to the police, I say, because the police never doubted that something happened to him. They just said it wasn't the screws. And me, I just was like, well, this is what he said. So do what you got to do, test them, do what you got to do. But this is what he's saying. And I'm saying, well, what he's saying. So I go back to the police. I'm like, well, does this make sense? Like, does this make, and his therapist too. Like, he has a therapist. And even for the court case, she wasn't allowed to testify on his behalf for hearsay. She's a professional, but I don't know. There's neither here nor there, but his therapist, is saying, I figured that, but we can't allude or put that idea in his head. He has to do it himself. So he went through a period of time where he was having really bad nightmares. So just like the pooping. And when he told me on the first day opened up about it, he never had an accident after that. So it was like pooping for 2 months and then boom, it was gone. So then after that, turmoil was going on between me and David in the house on social media and stuff. And then he starts having real bad nightmares. A real bad nightmare. He starts sleeping with me. So I've seen when he wakes up in the middle of the night. And I told him, I said, I think you're hiding something, because just like the pooping started small, got worse. The nightmares started small, getting worse, happening every night. I think you were hiding something. And then that same day he had therapy, and then he starts to go into, it wasn't the screws. So, but the biggest problem was that I didn't find out for 2 months. That was the biggest problem. I mean, I took him to a specialist. They told me I would have had to have 2 weeks. So I had 2 months later. So the biggest problem, I mean, and also that he wasn't processing trauma correctly. So he wasn't completely honest with me about what was going on. But I still knew that that David did something to him. And I believe that in my heart of hearts. So it was just like, whatever my son is saying is what he's saying. And that's just what it is. So
so you definitely maintain, because I know at one point you had apologized or something along those lines. And so now
I was forced to do, I was finessed into that. That was
who did
he
that?
called me. First he had this is how I even got on the phone with him, is that he had the polygraph guy call me and tell me that he passed his test. This after I done took my test, I improved myself. I'm waiting on him. He got his family calling me. Oh, got his sister calling me. Oh, I really like you guys together. Like, could you guys squash this and figure it out? I say, bro, listen, if you guys believe this man so bad, tell him to take a polygraph test. If he passed, I'll apologize. Now I'm bullshitting because I know he wasn't going to pass. And I just wanted the people around him that believed him to make him do it so that he could fail and I could prove it to everybody. Told you. So I'm like, I apologize if he passes it. I just want him to do it, right? So every conversation I ever had with them, they record me. So they're building finesse. And I'm on the phone. I'm not never recording because I'm doing this trying to corroborate with everybody because I'm being painted like I'm just out here falsely accusing the man. So if his family calls me, why do you feel like this happened? I'll tell him, I'll break it down to him. I'm honest with him. This is why I believe this. And if he wants me to believe otherwise, help me. Like, go take the polygraph test. As you said, he's the one that I never brought a polygraph. I never needed one. But he said he'd come on Instagram and say, I'll do it. So it went about 3-4 months and he ain't do it. So it was just, if you're so innocent, just do it. Like, don't come on the internet and say I'm gonna do it. Just do it. Like, help me out. Like, help me out. Help me to not have you as a suspect. Help me to figure it out. That's all I ever wanted. And so I get a call from a polygraph guy, same guy I went to, told me he passed the test. I said, ain't no way. I mean, yeah, I interviewed him and I asked him this and that and da da da, and it turns out that he's telling the truth. Ain't no way. I'm thinking like, I don't know how y'all finesse this. Ain't no way. So the brother get on the phone. He said, "Well, you said you would apologize if you passed the test." I said, "Bro, ain't no way," because I just knew like I could sit there with a gun to my head. That's something with a gun to my head. We'll pull this trigger if he passed. If you agree to it, I'll do it because so I'm in shock. I'm just like, ain't no way. I don't know how y'all finesse that. I'm thinking all types of stuff. So ain't no way. And so the brother's like, oh, well, if he did it, he wants to talk to you, wants to help you out. I'm in shock.
Right.
Like, ain't no way. Like, so he get on the phone. Now, mind you, I done went through so much with him. So even me talking to him is hard because it's like I'm a victim too. So it's scary it's scary for me to talk to him because at this point I done been through so much with him. So he get on the phone, sweet talking. Oh, I'm sorry, you've been going through this. You're such a good mom, and I really feel so bad. And this is all I ever like in the beginning. This is how it should have been. Something just apologize. Like, I'm going through it. Just help me out. And I'm thinking like ain't no way you passed. Like, why you took so long if you was so innocent? I'm confused. So he get to playing with me. to get in my head, sending me videos of his daughters fighting at school, giving me the sob stories. I was gonna kill myself, and I'm just thinking like my mind racing. I don't know what's going on with the kids saying this, and this is my first time I ever really had a conversation about everything. So I'm like, well, why they saying that? So he getting in my head, and I'm weak. I was weak and I was vulnerable. I don't know how to explain the way I felt, but I kept telling him I need a second to think. But he's in my face, he's in my ears, like doing what he's doing. He was a really good manipulator. And I'm sitting here, I'm in the car for 3 hours with the car off. I went 3 hours talking to him on the phone. It felt like 30 minutes. And so I go to talk to my son. He go to tell me, oh, I don't want to keep going back and forth with you on social media. I want this to stop. So I got the test results, but I don't want to put them out because I don't want to keep doing this. But if you go on the Instagram and you apologize like you said you would, then I won't do it. So I'm like, why don't you put your results out? Like you could do that. Like you weren't gonna stop me from my results. I was happy to put my results out. So I said, no, go ahead. No, I don't want to do that. And he starts telling me, I could put a charge against you for trying to get me killed. I could set me up with that. Telling me like, I could press a charge, but I don't want to do that to you. I know where you stay at. I know where your parents live at. So now he's throwing in like little threats. And I'm still sitting here, I'm stuck. I'm still thinking like, I'm crying. I don't know what's going on. And I'm just sitting in the car. He just talking. I say, you know what? Let me talk to my son first. So he goes, oh, don't hang up the phone. I want to make sure that, you're not going to go tell him to say X, Y, Z, da, da, da. I want to hear y'all conversations. So I'm thinking, all right, whatever. I'm going to put you on mute. I'm going to go talk to my son. Now, my son knows I was on the phone with this man. So he in the house having a bad time. So I sit him down. I say, Wesley, did David do what he did to you? Did he do that? So he sits and stares at me for an hour and a half. You see an hour and a half. You sitting here crying, not saying nothing. I'm like, Wesley. So I'm stressed. I'm stressed. I don't know what is going on. And I couldn't process that he was scared because he wasn't saying nothing. So in my head, I'm like, did I get this wrong? I'm saying he supposedly passed the lie test. So I'm thinking like, did I mess up? So I'm thinking like I was in the wrong. So I'm trying to put everything together. So everything was just like in my head, like just everything was just crazy. And then my son goes, after like an hour and a half, he goes, I made it all up. Now can I go? And runs out the room. I say, bro, get back. I say, get back in this room. He crying. He pees in his pants. You know what I'm saying? At this point, my son is 6. And I realized, it's because he's on the phone and my son is not being able to process it right. He doesn't want to be in my face. He doesn't want to be, even though I didn't have him on the phone with him, but I had the phone down. And so, but at this point, I got old boy recording everything that's going on. So now old boy is got, oh, I got the conversation of you saying you apologized to me once I passed my test. See, you don't want to go do that. You said you was going to do that. And you were a woman of your word. And now I'm going to put it on the internet and saying, see, I passed my test and you don't want to apologize. It's all you making it up. So he starts to flipping narratives that he's about to put on the internet. And I got the son and I don't want him to put my son because it's not what it is. And I said, I'm like, I just got. I'm sitting here trying to do the right thing. I'm trying to give everybody opportunity to talk to me. I'm trying to be open with everybody how I feel. I'm not trying to be, even though I should have, it's just, I was caught off guard. Like when I got that he passed the test, I had it in my soul he was gonna pass. So when he passed, it was like, hold on. I swore by this science he wasn't gonna pass this. And in my head, I didn't think old boy got paid off to lie to me. I didn't think, I don't play dirty games. So I didn't think that man was lying to me. So I believed it and I panicked. I got so scared and he's like, this is what you're going to do. He just literally sat there and told me what to do, what to say. I hang up on him and I did it. And as soon as I did it, he called me and he was like, oh, I need you to make a post because people still on your side. I said, what you mean on my side, bro? I was like, you keep trying to make this about me and you know it's about Wesley. And then boom, he split the switch. Oh, 30 M's up. Fuck you, bitch. Start to completely change. I was like, oh my God, I just fucked up. So after that, I had people calling my phone. It was like, really, what are you doing? I said, I don't know. Like I got on that phone with that man at 3:30 in the afternoon. And by the time I got off the live, it was 12 o'clock at night. I done sat on that phone with this man all day, didn't eat. Neither my son. We just stuck, just getting finesse. And I got played. I got played real bad. And then I felt so bad. I went back on live and I said, bro, I ain't mean what I said. And then the next day I tried to call the polygraph guy to get the test. And he talking about he ain't never talked to me. I said, what you mean? He said, I ain't talked to you. You talked to my associate. I said, ain't no way, bro. Because I wouldn't have believed it from no other voice. I know what that man sounded like. I wouldn't have, if I didn't see the test, I wouldn't have believed it if I didn't hear that man's voice. That man told me he didn't talk to me. And then I couldn't get the results. So I
So
knew I was good.
what is, you think he's paying everybody off? Like, what do you like?
What do
Why?
you think?
What? I don't.
I mean,
I have no idea. I have no idea. I'm just
I
wondering,
feel
like,
like
does he have that kind of money to
oh,
be for
he
status?
who he don't, but who he signed to. So when you got somebody linked to in a group and association, you got something like that on you. They gonna do whatever they can to protect their brand. It ain't even about oh boy, it's about you got my name attached to you. You know what I'm saying? And I don't even know how much it take to bribe somebody to call this girl. But it might be a little $5,000. Who knows how much it costs?
Right.
But it's just the fact that that's what was going on. Like, how you gonna tell me that you didn't talk to me? I'm trying to get the results in black and white. You told me I was an authorized user to get the results. That's all you could tell me on the phone. So send it to me, telling me no, he can't. So I'm like, y'all playing me. Like I just got, and I'm not playing no dirty games. So I'm not thinking that that's what it was that they were doing. So yeah, I never seen the black and white results of that test to this day. It's not in trial. I mean, we in civil court. You know, a polygraph test isn't using in criminal court, but in civil, it's the preponderance of evidence. So mine's in there because I did it. So here's my results. Where is yours? Like we've never seen his test. And I always said that if he took a polygraph test and I never seen it, I knew he would lie. But see, that's why he finessed me, had the guy call me.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy calling me is what put me in shock. And I was stuck because the man's telling me. And I'm just like, ain't no way. But I'm talking to the guy and I'm not thinking that it's a finesse.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he got me. He played in my face. And that's basically all that is, like witness tampering. That's why I put that on because we're not even supposed to be even contacting each other or even having no. And I wouldn't have answered his phone call on a regular. I didn't answer his call. I answered the brother's call who was calling me about him supposedly texting the test. And then they put him on the phone and I'm stuck now. And I don't want to be made to look like I'm not trying to hear anybody out. So I heard him out. Just me being just cooperative, but I shouldn't even give a fuck.
Jeez, this is crazy. Well, let me ask you this. Do you have any intentions of paying or trying to pay this judgment at any point?
No, he ain't getting a dollar out of me. He ain't
Yeah.
getting a dollar out of me. So I mean, he ain't gonna win in trial. That's
Yeah.
why they're fighting. So at the end of the day, if he had a strong case and they really did this, y'all would not have did what y'all did yesterday. They wouldn't have did with half the stuff they've been doing to me to get me to settle, start snitching on me about all type of stuff in the courtroom because I won't settle. So this whole entire time, I know what's going on behind closed doors. I know they settle. If you don't settle, we gonna do this. Go ahead, do it. I don't care. Snitch on me. I don't care. I'm not settling. So this whole entire time, they've been trying to get me to settle. If you don't want to go to trial, you drop the case. But if they drop the case, it's not going to look good on his end. So I would have to be the one to settle out. So I was hell bent on don't even matter. My lawyer start tripping on me. Fine, I'm gonna do it myself. So I still stayed 10, and we get to the home stretch, and it's like if y'all had so confident, why we couldn't just go do what we do? Like give a fair shot. Y'all tell y'all side of the story. I'm gonna tell my side of the story. We gonna see who they believe, and let it be that. But the fact that you had to get me arrested, y'all did some backdoor trial. Of course you're gonna win. There's only one side being presented.
Right.
So and I'm not there to defend myself. So what was gonna happen? So yeah, and he ain't never gonna get no dollar out of me. I'm prepared. I just I don't know what they're gonna have up their sleeve next, but
Get a
still
lawyer.
stands. Like
Get
yeah.
a good one.
Yeah, I guess the
Another
lawyers.
thing is the press. Let's use that in air quotes, but some of the websites. I'm not gonna name check them, but you could imagine who I'm talking about. When this all first broke, it seemed like they were on your side, right?
Yeah,
And at least the painting the picture, right? And so,
yeah.
and then this most recent news breaking, it seems like it's switched.
Oh,
And
it was a point where it switched. It was a point where it switched, and it was around like in the beginning, Durk was quiet. They was quiet and wasn't around him. And then when he dropped his diss record, I don't remember which one it was. He had like 3, 4 of them about me, but one of them he had dropped. and Durk reposted it. Then Durk started getting back around him. Then the blog started being only one side and started only posting. So like if we would have something going on, they're only posting his side. And then my side wasn't being posted. So I knew that from that point, I don't remember exactly when it was, but at some point, yes, it was a switch. And then I'm not paying blogs and I don't have a PR team. And I know he does. Like even with the apology video, he had a PR team that out. I never did none of that because that's not, I don't care about that. Like, that's not my intention. I say what I say on my page. I didn't even do but one interview because that lady called me because he gave her my number. But other than that, I had Dr. Phil, I had TMZ, I had so many people reaching out to me, but that's not my intentions, was not to go on a press run and do all that. I wanted him to go to jail. So I'm fighting in real life, but he's fighting with me on social media and he's winning because I don't have machines. I don't have it and I wasn't gonna do that. I'm not gonna pay a blog to post it. I never will. So, I mean, even to right now, they probably, it is what it is. I just know how the social media stuff works. So
You think Durk stayed loyal to him? I don't know.
I mean,
You get that attached, that stigma attached to you, usually people kind of move away, but it seems like it didn't necessarily affect the relationship there. Did you?
or in the beginning, I heard otherwise.
Okay.
I heard otherwise in the beginning. But like I said, I don't know what happened when the switch. I don't know if it was when, we start putting plans together and we're gonna start making certain stuff look like this and that. Once he got me to do that apology video, it was it for me. Because all that did was attack my credibility. And even though that was the only one time I've ever had a discrepancy in my story, even though he's had so many disruptions, I could sit there and be like, bro, like, why he's saying, we wasn't in a relationship and I'm just some hoe and downplaying it and giving me a motive. I don't have a motive. So if we was in a relationship and you tell me you love me, trying to start a family with me, you want to buy houses with me, and you doing all this, and then I'll break up with you because I'm telling you you're not good enough for me, and I don't like the drugs, and I don't like how you treat me, and I'm bouncing. What will be my motive for turning around and doing that? There is none. So him having to make me look like come on. So him giving me that motive would give, oh, that's why she did it. But that's not true. Like, so I just feel like maybe with all the scheming and stuff that he did eventually, it just came to the point where he's doing the scheming. I'm not. So he's doing and setting holes and tricks for me, and I'm walking into them and I'm getting trapped every time because I'm just going through this and I'm trying to, I'm trying to get help with. If someone come up to me and tell me they're trying to help me out, I'm gonna tell them what's going on, but then they backdoor me on some weird, so he would send people to me to set me up. So it was going on and on and on and on. Like I literally would have people that he would send that would be like, oh, I went through something similar and da 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 da, just so that I will go to the police and be like, oh, somebody told me da da da, because I'm taking every lead. I'm doing everything I can do. I'm taking every lead. I'm oh, see this, see that, see this. But I realized at a certain point that it was him sending them people to just make me look crazy, like for me to lose my mind, for me to just be doing stupid stuff. You know what I'm saying? So with Durk's situation, I mean, yeah, I guess they cool now or whatever. I mean, I don't know, I don't care, but I just know the industry is very weird and it's not really about relationships, it's more about money. So I mean this has definitely boosted his career. I mean the downfall of me coming on social media is that like now people know who he was. Ain't nobody knew who he was before this. So and that's a fact. So it's like, they say all publicity is good publicity. So I just feel like this situation he's definitely been capitalizing off of it. I ain't dropping no music. I'm an artist. I made songs, but I ain't drop them because I'm gonna be a clout chaser if I drop a song about everything that's going on. So I haven't entertained that, but he's been, making a name for himself, especially now, like he gonna, take off with this as long as he can. But it's just I'm getting backdoor every time. It's like if people actually look at what is really going on, you can see like there's something deeper that's going on that is not being told. But that's social media. Like I can't get mad at people for not.
I was going to ask you, I'm sorry, but what about the permanent restraining order?
Well, the permanent restraining order is expired now.
Oh, it
It's
expired?
not you only get restraining orders are only for 1 year.
I heard
But I was back.
permanent. I thought it was forever.
No, restraining orders are for 1 year. Like I never heard of restraining order being like an indefinite thing. They're 1 year restraining orders that are filed against you. So
Okay, okay.
but for the restraining order, I backdoored on that too. So like everything was bad. To make that long story short, I filed first for me and my son, and then he filed talking about I hit him and I physically violent towards this man and I was abusive to him in a relationship. So get him on the stand, cross-examine him. He get caught up in his lies. Oh, that was probably a typo. So I've already had him on the stand before, and they know that. So I've already been capable. And when I had that deposition with them, I asked David. This is in January 5th, 3 times. I said the first question was if it wasn't the screws. At this point, I knew it wasn't the screws. I said if it wasn't the screws, was it your penis that you used to rape my son? I don't hear nothing. So I look at him for the first time the whole court date. I said, "Did you rape my son?" I don't hear nothing. I asked him again, "Did you rape Wesley?" I don't hear nothing. So by the third time, I'm about to get out my chair. Cause it's like, why are you not saying nothing? You know what I'm saying? If you are innocent, no. You know what I'm saying? He didn't say anything. So
Hmm.
being silent while you're answering questions is enough right there. So I've already dealt with him on the stand, and his attorney and him, they know that. So even when I had the trial, even when we tried to do this trial on Monday, she tried to tell the judge, "Oh, she can't. She has my client listed as a witness, and she can't do that." And the judge was like, "Yes, she can." So they were trying their best to not get that mail because I had him before. So we go to the trial for this. I by myself again, no lawyer against him, his lawyer, and somebody else. And even though I got kicked out of the courtroom because I was so emotional. The first time I ever saw him in person since all this was going on. So it was really hard for me. And so I ended up getting kicked out of the courtroom, but I still won. So they said that he didn't provide no evidence to stalking, harassment, cyberbullying, and cyber stalking. That's what the judge said out his mouth. So boom, gets dismissed, and then she files for a rehearing. She wants to have a rehearing. Never heard nothing about a rehearing. All of a sudden, I get arrested for the restraining order after I posted his polygraph test on my page.
Mm.
And they tell me he had a restraining order. How does the judge sign off on a restraining order when you don't have a rehearing? Like when you go to trial and they appeal it, you have to have a rehearing. I didn't get a rehearing. And then they put in the police report that I was served in person on a particular date with the restraining order. Cap. So I go to jail and I was never served. So even when they signed off on this restraining order, I coincidentally was never served.
Mm.
So I have no knowledge of absolutely nothing. They come to my house 11 something at night, trick me out the house, arrest me. I go to jail and I get ROR'd again. And then the state dropped the charges. I never even went to court for that. So it was just that I posted the polygraph test. People could see where they saw from stuff in 4K, and then for them to hide that, they had to fuck me up. But then they got me arrested. So it was like, you forgot what I just did. And now I'm all on the blogs stalking, and they made it seem like I'm outside this man's window in a bush.
Right.
Like, no, man, I just posted this video that I got from him from a public website. And they also put in a report that it was a private video. No, I got it from TashaK.com. And it was in regards to my son.
Right.
Boom, check it out. I got arrested for it. And then what I had just posted, it just like went away. And then here we go. Now I'm crazy. And so I'm like, it's always been a setup.
Might be time to do some music. It might be time to capitalize on the. I hate to say it, but the the attention this is garnering right now is crazy, and geez,
I don't even care to be, I don't even care to be a rapper
yeah,
no more.
I,
I changed my life.
I can salute
I
you.
changed my life. I changed my life. I live for the most high. I don't want anything to do with the demons and the devils in the music industry. I love making music, but I'm not really doing it to if
Okay.
I do it, I'm doing it to change people's lives, to tell my story. And one day I got music, I got good music, and one day maybe, but I just feel like I just don't want it to give up. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm really not trying to do that. I really just want to heal and be left alone. But I gotta fight. But
Okay. Okay. Well, my last question for you, and this is one I was going to lead with, but I figured I'd end with this. How is your son? How is he doing now?
I mean, It's tough. This has been really tough. When I took him to court, he threw up outside the courtroom. He's in the courtroom crying and stuff. The man wasn't even there, but just him, just having to talk about it. It's hard. Um, I mean, at the end of the day, at least I know what he's going through, and I cannot be there for him. But I don't like telling his business. You know what I'm saying? So I've never talked about like the teacher calling me, telling me he's at the playground hurting himself. He went through a phase where he's putting bruises on his body, saying he wanted to die. I'm 6 years old. I never want to talk about all that because like it hurts, like it breaks my heart. And I like I also feel bad that I put it on the internet too, but I was kind of faced with I either don't say nothing and it just is like it never happened, and then he gets the opportunity to find another single mom and finesse and do whatever he do, and then keep using the fact that he's big bad OTF and scare girls into not saying nothing, but or I say something and I do what I have to do, but that exposed my sons. I do feel bad that you know people make a joke about it. Like I never anticipated that, but it just really sucks that they take something so serious, and whether they want to believe it or not, at the end of the day, this is what he said. Like this ain't damn sure ain't coming from me. I don't know how many times we gotta go. I damn sure ain't making this shit up. So it's like this is what he's going through. So whether or not people want to believe it, it just didn't come from me. And I hate the fact that it's just made to where like it just looks like I just flat lied on. Like I'll do that to my child. Like my baby daddy's in penitentiary in Big Sandy. I think I don't play like no one knows my baby daddy. I'm not playing my baby daddy by his child. Like to
Right.
play my son like that. Like
Mm,
so I mean, but I'm here for him. So all we can do is just take it day by day. That's about it.
that's crazy. Crazy, crazy. Any final words for people or just, anything?
No, I just no. I just I just wish people just stop talking about it. Just I've been told the blogs to the point I said, bro, just don't even post me. Like just don't even post about it. Like I don't if everybody thinks I'm doing it for clout and attention, then just um don't talk about it. You
Is
know what I'm
that
saying?
him?
Like don't yeah.
He got a lot of hair.
Yeah, he
I
do.
wish I
A
had
lot of
that
hair.
hair. Oh
Yeah.
goodness. This is crazy. All
But
right.
yeah, I just want to have a fair like time because I never had the opportunity. I never really sat down and showed everybody everything because I was dealing with the police and stuff. So there was so much things I could say, but I just want to have the fair opportunity to be able to present my case. And what happens, happens. But
Mm,
I keep getting made to look like I just keep getting made to look like something I'm not. And it just sucks. But I mean I can't I don't care what people say about me on the internet. Like people around me, they know who I am. You could have one conversation with me and know like that ain't what it is. So and my son, same thing. My son is not a bad baby kid, just out here lying or people or, I've moved, like I would know like if there was an issue. And I'm not someone that's just gonna go and ruin my reputation. I built my brand by myself. Like I have all my followers and it ain't for myself. And I've been popping since 2018 doing what I'm doing. I damn sure not gonna come and just say something like this and I be lying to ruin me. Like, ain't no way. Like I worked too hard for it, and that also sucks because it's just like he do that to me, and then he's also trying to take everything from me. And it's just like, dog, like, come on, like, it just sucks. It's just unfortunate, but here's what it is.
well, you this was
Lesson learned. That's why, lesson learned. I ain't messing with no more boys. I am celibate. And I'm just focusing on bettering myself and not making the same stupid decisions because it's at the end of the day, it's my fault I'm in this position because I should have never been involved with someone like that.
right.
But I was caught up in the hype and the look, or got to date a rapper, be a rapper in the industry, and it's cool and you look good, but I wasn't getting what I really needed as a woman, as a human in real life. It's just the wrong reason. So I mean, I learned my lessons, so I ain't gonna get got again with that when it comes to that.
Yeah. Wow. All right. Well, let me stop this thing.
Yeah.
So, you know, the truthfulness of your statements, your story, your son's story has been in question. And what's going on in my mind over and over and over has been sort of like, you know, men do get accused of wrongdoing, right? And so that's a real thing. At the same time, this is such a loaded sort of case. So, you know, just tell us, you know, why you're not lying, like why, you know, this is different than other cases.
Yeah. So I mean, I know that women lie, you know what I'm saying? Like I mean, women want to get back at men, and it's like it'll be if I was to lie, it would be, you know, oh, a man did this to me, or a man touched me, or a man hit me, or me, because that's me, and I'd be, you know, but I've never heard, and I've had conversations with men in the streets that be like, oh, women lie all the time, but I'd be like, but have you ever heard a mom ever say that her minor son was to get raped by a boyfriend? Like, have you ever heard that lie and depend on somebody like that? Like, that's serious. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, and for me, I've been a single mom, like taking care of my son since forever, and we're well off. Ain't no way that I just come and put my seed, a child, in a lie, and then fucking my son be lying for so many years. He's only gonna get older, and it's like a child can't remember to lie and be consistent with a lie. You think I sat there and was cried, pinch him, and like that's taking it to the absolute extreme. And I'm a female, I can get any nigga that I want. Like I'm not trying to be cocky, but if I was to show you my DMs, you ask me a rapper right now, they've been in my DMs, I'll tell you yes, in 2018, these niggas been in my DMs. So it's like it's just I would, you know, women do lie, women lie on men all the time. You know, I'm pregnant, you know, stuff like that. But I've never heard why a mother will lie to your child and say something so, you know, graphic and just disgusting about that, because it's embarrassing to me. People see me and now they know whether they believe me or not. It's just I always got people looking at me and knowing like, damn, like her son, you know, and that's not something that I would have just made up just to get back. You know, it's like I could just say he hit me or he cheated on me or he did this and did that, and you know, regular petty stuff that female do. But I never heard. I don't know. I don't know if you have. Like, have you ever, like, be honest? Have you ever heard of a woman saying that a man molested their son? Like, I have a boy. You know what I'm saying? I don't even have a daughter. Like, I
Yeah.
wouldn't even think I ever be in this position to even had that. Like, it's a boy. Like, so on top of that, it's also an accusation that the man is interested in boys. So like, have you ever like I just but being honest, like have you ever heard a mom ever saying that about a man?
Yeah, not off top. No, I can't say I know that I've got a case like that off the top of my head. No.
No,
Definitely
it was
that's a definite no. No. Mm-mm. Not falsely accused.
it's like I wouldn't put it on social media in front of the whole entire world. No, I knew it was true. I wouldn't put that on the whole entire world if I felt like I didn't believe what I was saying. Like I really felt like this is what it was, and I really just know you guys need to know, and I need help, and I don't know what to do, and like, and dog, like I just like my whole life is upside down, and I just so much going on, but like,
All right. Well, I guess we'll see what happens next. That's about all we can do, right?
yeah.